Go Beaver! Away!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to KritzKast. Apologies for my previous digression. I said that we'd be back in half an hour. I was just baiting you. I was just, just building up that suspense. We're going to have to wait for ages. No, we're back already. We have one more map for you here today. And like I said about 5 minutes ago, this is being put forward as a potential replacement for Steel. It is CP Alloy, which is an attack defense map, kind of along the same lines as perhaps Gravel Pit, where you've got an A and B point you can cap at the same time, and then a final C point that is unlocked once you have both of those points. We are following, again, Feila in this tournament so that we get to see all the other teams. And the one team that we haven't seen so far today was Wiethoofd. They are their opponents here. The table on the ETF2L site is a little bit jumbled up, a little bit fuddled. But off the top of my head, Wiethoofd are currently in 4th place with 4 points in this cup. It is a round-robin cup where each team plays each other. In 6 points, joint on second, are Feila eSports and Envision. So if that was to come to a head-to-head, Envision lost to Feila. So technically Feila are in second, Envision in third, but both on 6 points. But in top at the moment with 8 points is Kitty Barkham Bandami, who picked up 2 points in the Golden Cup loss to Wiethoofd, but picked up 6 in the most recent 3-0 win on Lakeside against Feila. So Kitty, with all to it's in their hands. If they were to win 6-0, they are guaranteed to win at this cup. And these two teams here need to hope for some favours going their way. Anyone could still win this. It's totally within the realms of possibility. Jake, Alloy, have you played it? Do you remember it? Do you like it? Hit me.
No, I have not played it. I don't know anything about it, and we'll see how it goes. To be honest, the only observation I've made, which we've talked about before we went live, is that there's a bunch of popcorn on last point, which I really do hope explodes once it's capped. So that's the only hope that I have for this map. But just by coasting through it, just by flying around on the no-clip cam, the only thing I can notice is that since it's very much the same as Gravel Pit, it will probably work the same way, where when you have 2 points open at the same time with the last one locked, it's kind of hard for the defensive team to kind of, keep track on both of those points, being controlled. Like, you have to devote either the entire team to 1 point and let the other one get capped, or split the team and hope that the half of your team will be able to stop the offense of an entire team, because blue obviously will stick together. They won't be splitting around and trying to cap 2 points at the same time. So that is the interesting part about it, because you can think of as many strategies as you want, as many people have done on Gravel Pit, just crazy stuff like, for example, engineer jumping with their own sentry on top of the rooftop on one of the points, and you can just set up a teleporter up there and get your entire team up there. It's crazy stuff that you can do with maps such as these, because you can decide if you want to hold B or if you want to hold A, or if you really want to risk it and hold both points at the same time. It's all up to you. And that's why it's going to be an exciting map to watch. I'm going to be learning as I go, so I have no idea what the callouts are, what the positions are. It's usually just what I never... CeeJaey, have you noticed, at least in your casting styles, that whenever you don't really know what the position is called, you either call it a barn, a shed, or garage?
Do you know what one word you've forgotten there? Lobby.
Lobby.
This map was played in the Preseason Cup, Season 10, so before Season 10. I remember playing it, and I remember we kind of just looked through the map, and we were like, we can call this lobby, and this bit kind of next lobby, and this left lobby, and this center lobby. There's a lot of open spaces, a lot of lobbies. There is like a barn, kind of, on A point. There's all these call-outs, so you kind of have to come up for these maps. And exactly what you said there. This, if you're thinking of this kind of like Steel, don't think of it like Steel. Think of it like Gravel Pit. Definitely a Gravel Pit kind of map where you have to capture A and B before you're able to capture C. And you have to really kind of hard hold one of the points, and the other one just maybe have 1 or 2 people there just keeping an eye out, but you don't really put all of your defenses there. And from my experience in playing this map in the past, A point is the map that you usually give up. It is quite a low down area on the A point. There is some decent sniper sight lines, but you risk giving up a lot. There's not really much to hold on the A point, whereas on the B point, it's much more enclosed. It's changed since the last time I played it, so maybe things have changed. But from what I can see, B point definitely has the more holdable high ground. You see the B point is actually on a high ground compared to where the attacking team is going to push through, and you can watch the connector areas. Connector, that's another word, Jake, that people always use. Connector from A to B. Other things to note is that there are bridges that go onto C point that only open up after, the points have been capped. The spawn opens up in various places. The map changes kind of a little bit, but in general, I'm expecting to see a lot of fighting on B. And this is a criticism, of these maps, Jake, that we've had. This is why Gravel Pit was removed from the map pool a number of seasons ago. I think last time it was played was season 9. We're now, this is preseason, season 18. And it's why some people criticize Steel as well, that you give up a point. And it's something you talked about there. You have to give up a point. There's no way you can split your defenses in a way where you can sort of Iron Man both points. So it kind of raises the question, what's the point in having a map with multiple points if one of them you're just going to ignore? So that's going to be a criticism levied at Alloy. And the big criticism in the past was the fact that the spawns were so kind of close together that you could just switch around. I see that's been changed with some added walls and some lengtheners, but we'll see what happens. And spawn times as well were criticized. Feila in the blue and Weak Excellers in the red. I don't know what you're expecting out of this, Jake. What kind of stuff are you going to be looking out for?
Well, we still have 60 seconds of setup time, so we'll see how the red team, which is Weak Excellers, are going to set up together with Feila attacking them. But you're saying that the criticism is that you have 2 points and you basically have to give one away. And that is a fair point, but you have to understand that you get to choose which one you want to give up. This is just opening up a lot of strategies that you can think of on defense and think on offense on how you want to defend or set up on a certain point. One game in the same season, you can simply just set up on B and do an amazing defense there just alone, or the next round you can just switch over to A and do a defense there, completely throwing up the enemy opposition. So that could be a point in case for this kind of style map where you have 2 points available.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jake, but I'm really interested in what Weak Excellers are doing right now. They have
holding both.
Yeah, they have their sentry in, let's call this the lobby, the connector lobby, between A and B. They have their medic there, they have their heavy there, and Denkra, the sniper, is watching on the A point. Like I said, there's a huge sight line here. And I'm guessing they're going to try and hold both points, and they're just going to rotate to wherever the action, which is at the moment, looks like it's on B.
Yeah, they're just pushing in. The blue team here, Feila is just really aggressive in there, going all the way up into the grill of the red here. Weak Excellers losing there. The Denkra is taking down a Lilypad, a Spamfest player. Now the Uber comes out of Seb, just pushing into the Feila eSports, but Feila is just pushing back. They have the entire combo team going into this connector area, and they're pushing them out of this position as well, with Seb running out of Uber to work with. Now they have to decide, what do they want to still hold on to B? They have some players in there just lingering around. Jordy is in there jumping onto Joe, and Joe already took down Spaz and Denkra. So it's just a complete mayhem going over B, and just in time as Jordy was jumping on the point, he gets burned down by V-Clocks, losing B, and looks like they're going to lose A as well.
Yeah, and I have to correct myself. It does look like you can capture the C point now, so you don't have to have both points. So now that B point has been captured, one of the bridges, the bridge coming from the side, on the B side, is now connecting, but the main bridge that goes from the central point towards the last point isn't open yet, so I'm guessing you need to have A for that. But Fire is getting his second medpick of the game, taking down Layla again. But A point, there's so much cap time on here, so I don't understand what's going on really, because Feila are just plonking themselves on the point, getting a ton of cap time. Even though they're losing all these fights, they're essentially winning the map so far.
Yeah, but this position by by Wiethoofd sellers is actually very, very interesting. We thought it's a bit weird. I mean, you just rotate to wherever action is, and it's very open. I mean, you can get attacked from so many different avenues. But at the same time, you're pretty much smack dab in the middle of a map. Wherever you want to go, you have a very short way to go. And look at this. The Feila team decided, you know what? They're not on A. We're just going to go in. And Layla goes down again by Denkra, who just managed to find a nice long sight line all over from the middle point there. Now they're just completely dismantling Layla's offense so simply. There's a sentry wrangled onto the point as well, with Newbie just basically just trying to hold this flank all by himself. Now Spams is the scout on the side, just trying to fight against a demo, and the scout himself takes down the scout, but Burnsand actually finally finishes him off. And it's not a bad strategy, might I say, CeeJaey.
I mean, it's an interesting strategy. I'm just looking at the main spawn right now, and the main door, I'm assuming, stays open as long as you have one of the points in control on defense. So Feila trying to go for last, but that last point can be defended from the spawn itself. So they really do need to get this A point, and I think they will get it now. They have players in position, and they have control of the map. But it's taken them quite a long time to get to that point of realizing that that's what they need to do. And that's going to open up, you know, some doors and close some doors for the Wiethoofd sellers, and that bridge should now extend over to that last point. But yeah, Wiethoofd sellers deciding they don't want to hold far back. They want to do essentially a forward hold in this lobby.
Yeah, they're still holding. The Sun is still keeping up the sentry. Now it's finally gone down. Now he's to get away. And look at this, Sun is on fire. How ironic. He's alive and well. He has to set up another sentry if he wants to stay alive.
Do you know who else is on fire, Jake? Do you know who else is on fire?
Fire.
His name, Fire. Yeah, he just got. He's on a 4K now, but he got a quick triple backstab there. One of them was again Layla. I think he's got 3 med picks so far, and it's only been 3 minutes. So he's doing pretty well for himself for a med kill a minute. And that's really stunting Feila's progress here, because Sebastian, I don't think he's had to pop for quite some time now.
Really happy. He wasn't really pressured. He's well defended, and looks like Wiethoofd sellers really did their homework on this map to just kind of figure out the best spots to hold. You know, Denkra is in there, taking down Joe with ease, still scoping down that narrow hallway where he has an amazing sideline on anybody who's passing through. Viklux is very close to it. He might get sniped, he might not. Now Layla is kind of spreading around, just looking for a way in right now, but look at his Sun just taking now Joe as it's nothing. Finally, Sun getting stabbed by Mezzo, and the sentry is finally down as well, which opens up, it gives Feila this point that they have to go in, this kind of queue to go, and they're chasing now all the way back. Anybody that is lingering, Denkra is going to go down. That gives the notification for Wiethoofd sellers to actually do something. They're popping the Uber, just trying to take down Lilypad and his contraptions, but the entire blue team is behind them now. They have nowhere to go.
Yeah, they're just cleaning up now, and the spawns are going to be fairly long for the defending side. They're trying to they're getting on point now, and there we go. Soldier, nice rockets onto middle, takes him down. Nubby's going to try and jump in, but can't really get much done. Viklux is on the spawn. He's going to manage to take down the sentry gun. No one's fallen into the lava yet, Jake. But it's not looking good for Feila, as they're probably going to have to back off and just regroup and then try and push again in a few seconds.
There's been back and forth, just a tug of war happening between Wiethoofd sellers and Feila eSports, as they're just kind of, you know, they're giving away some land and they take it, and they give away and then take again. It's just kind of going back and forth. And now Wiethoofd sellers have entrenched themselves onto the last point on the popcorn area, as I'm gonna call it from now on. They have their demo man. Yo Nan is a skank. Just putting out some sticky traps. The Uber comes out of Feila though. They're just pushing in. Seb has to get his Uber fast if he wants to stay alive, but he's all the way back in spawn now, and they'll be able to repush whenever they want. But Feila now has an aggressive position, and they're in position to actually go on the point itself.
Yeah, but they don't have that Uber, and Sebastian's going to use his Uber, and they're going to take down anybody. No, Viklux is denying. He's taking a lot of damage. He dies. So does Burnsand, but they've managed to deny the Uber, and yeah, Layla goes down to Spans. He's just on the cleanup crew, takes down a few players there, and Sebastiani lives. Wiethoofd sellers survive for longer now, and this is going to be, I don't know what a decent time would be, Jake, but they're holding for a decent amount of time, I feel, right now.
Yeah, this is a respectable time. They've kind of struggled around A and B, couple of pushes from Feila. where, you know, just knocked on the door enough to do something. Joe is just getting completely smashed by this sticky trap. I'm not sure what happened, but that the jerk of the heavy just getting slammed by those stickies and surviving on 5 HP is something out of a pub game. But now Feila is just pushing on the side again, as majority of the team is holding on the left side. Uber coming out of the red team. They need to push it out. Layla is trying to get away, but he's not. She's not going to be able to, as the demo man from the red team is just going absolutely ham and pan with a 6 kill streak on to his name in that engagement there.
Yeah, I mean, Wiethoofd does manage to take down Sebastiani, and because of the nature of the map, you know, defensive side is going to have longer respawn, so it's about a 20% add for Layla there. But again, we see this situation where Feila are too far forward and get caught out by the aggressive Uber from Wiethoofd sellers. You know, Wiethoofd sellers aren't afraid to get aggressive with their Uber and you know, sort of try and chase them down. But now this is an opportunity for Feila to do something with this ad now, and this is a really interesting hold. I mean, this kind of spawn door hold allows you to spam the point. As long as you're spamming the point with that sentry in your demo, you kind of controlling that. Even though Wiethoofd sellers have a tiny portion of map control, they are actually in control of this final point.
This is what they're doing wrong, Feila eSports. They're just trying to knock on the door of Wiethoofd sellers with the Uber charge as they're going in, and actually that might work out. They're taking down the sentry gun, the demo goes down, and the engineer himself also going down, which opens up this entire area. Now Joe is gonna go down himself, but at a nice cost there. They're holding on the point right now. Layla going down, no more heals on the point. Now they're stuck in that little nook. They're trying to take down the red team. The Uber coming out of Seb, just pushing in and just cleaning up house. Now the only person alive on the point is the scout. He's still capping. Nobody sees him. He's standing on the edge, and they just nobody. Finally, they clean him up, but it's so close to getting capped here. Wiethoofd is chasing down the demo man. He's getting cleaned up just in time before the demo goes down there. And that was so close. They couldn't see, or they didn't realize there was a scout in their middle.
It was so funny, Jake. Like, Middle and Kaza, they were just kind of in that little cubby hole, just looking at each other like, no, you go, no, you go. And Kaza comes out and just gets obliterated by Buck. He's just like streaming bullets onto the point. So the Middle just waits, and all he had on the point was like a toe. Like a toe of the scout was touching the yellow line and manages to get some cap time. And he's on there again. They're just trying to bum rush the point now. Getting a ton of time there. Mezzo's on the point now. It's just ×1. And the Uber is coming in. It's a Kritzkrieg from Layla. It was just a distraction onto the spawn. And Sebastian's used his Uber onto Buck and to Spans. Just trying to block the point now. V-Clogs maybe push someone into the pit. Maybe use the air blast. No, he cannot. And the point is still in control by Wiethoofd sellers.
Oh, that was so close. Seb's getting complete body blocked there by his own heavy Bucky, doing an amazing job protecting his medic from that mini sentry or the level 1 sentry with the Wrangler on. What a great play by the heavy, and usually don't see those happening. But Feila is just struggling right now to get on the point. They tried to knock on the door on the left, they failed. They tried to go around from the right, they failed again. And it looks like Wiethoofd sellers are just in complete control, and they understand this map well. The only thing that Feila has actually figured out that is working is just you have to put your little toe on the point to get the cap down, and that might be something that both teams will be looking towards the next. You know, Feila will keep trying to do that while distracting the enemy team, and well, Wiethoofd sellers will be watching out for the timer below their HUD.
Yeah, they are actually getting some frags here. They're taking down 4 players. Including the demo, but the spawn time is very, very fast on defense, so he's up already, and he's ready to kind of lock down those things, and there we go, he gets 2, he gets the heavy and the demo. So despite them getting a demo pick, he's able to just come back in and help out during that Uber. Sis just kind of taking the brunt of the heals and walking forward, and there's only about 1 minute 20 seconds left on the round timer, so we could end up in a situation where Wiethoofd sellers hard hold this last point, and Feila have to do the same, otherwise they will lose the round. So very interesting, and I just feel this right side hold. Wiethoofd sellers have clearly practiced or maybe researched this and realized how good this hold is. They have what, 8 or not, sort of 7, 8 players on their team, all on this one side, and they can control this entire last area.
Layla is actually getting an Uber shot of the spy here, who's just stabbed her in the face, which is kind of accelerating towards an equalizer with Seb. Seb's about to get 100%. He pops now. He's kind of in danger, and now Layla has to get her Uber up. She's 95%. She's getting away with her life, and now they're going to be able to push back in, and they're doing it right now with Burn and Joe, but they popped it way too early, trying to get that sentry down on the flag. There's a lot of players going down for the red team. Will that be enough for Feila to actually do something? We've got a pit kill, ladies and gentlemen. Jordy falls down the serial pit there. And Joe now on the side is locking down the spawn. Bok is there alive. Now he's trying to rain down hell. The time is about to run out for Feila CeeJaey. What a jump by Newbie, but he's missing the second rocket there. Seb is still alive, and there's nobody from Feila eSports to actually be on the point and get the job done.
I think 2 people fell into the pit there.
Serial pit.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the popcorn pit of death. I mean, I don't know. For me, that's a dream. Like, I'd love to just dive into a pit of popcorn. I mean, just
especially if a pit of popcorn is basically like 3,000 or 4,000 Celsius.
I mean, I don't know. You have to maybe blow on it before you put it in your mouth. You know, just like, you know, get the heat off. But I mean, the popcorn pit is demolishing people. Maybe MVP. I don't know. But I just watching that, I saw a last point that was so easy to hold. I saw the defensive side spawn timers are still kind of fast, meaning even if you get a pick, if you don't work on it in the next 3 or 4 seconds, that player is going to be up again and sort of in a position in time. I felt Feila could have maybe gone on from the opposite side of the map and got a sniper in there. Just get their sniper in, tank some heals onto him, and maybe get some picks that way. You know, we see that a lot on these maps. Just get your sniper into an angle, and there was an angle there. However, in order to get that way, you have to go around like a whole bunch of places, and it just really wasn't viable. And the spawn door is constantly open, so you can spam them from that side on the spawn. So very difficult. And you take a look at Feila right now. They are deciding that they want to have the majority of their players. They got what, 1, 2, 3. They've got 6, 7 players on the B point. This is the point that they want to hold, a more traditional kind of style where they've just got their scout and their NG on the A point. And I don't think that's going to last too long. Buck takes it down. It costs him his life. Yeah, I mean, I think Wiethoofd is going to capture the A point now.
Yeah, they're just gonna give it away for free. Feila eSports to Wiethoofd. There's nobody there to actually protect it. They already have a level 3 sentry by Sun in there, so I don't really think they will be able to even reclaim it at this point. It's being capped so fast, but there is Mezzo there to try to put some pressure on them, and Vclux is jumping onto the point, just trying to get it stopped from getting capped here. Seb has to pop his Uber to save the team. Now the demo goes in, tries to put some pressure on the enemy combo. Now both points are getting capped. I don't think Joe will be able to do anything about this, as the point is about to be finished by the blue team here, and Wiethoofd are still knocking on the heaven's door with their offense coming out of the A point. B is being controlled by Buck. He's finally gonna get cleaned up. Just pure mayhem going at this point, and now Wiethoofd are basically gonna try and flank Feila's defense there on the B point here.
I mean, okay, Layla goes down there to Spans, so that's a really big pick. I was watching the MGE on B point. It was literally just the guy versus Nubby, and the guy actually hits 2 air shots onto Nubby as Nubby was trying to jump and defend the point. He actually goes and gets the health back, and he had the black box, and he only won it by about 20 HP. But there we go, Mezzo gets 2 kills onto the sniper and the demo. Huge picks there, but just taking a look at map control right now, I don't think Feila are going to be able to block B for much longer. We got Spans and Fire on there. I mean, it looks like they want to try, Jake, but this could be to their detriment if they're not careful. I mean, they actually... No! Scratch that! Jake, they have to block this point. If they cap within the next minute and 10 seconds, Wiethoofd win!
Oh, I did not realize this, and I don't think that Feila has realized it as well, as they just completely ignore it. And the timer has gone down, ladies and gentlemen. This is a precedent because we completely forgot, and I think both teams also kind of forgot, except for Wiethoofd, that if you cap, 2 points but don't cap the last one, whoever caps 2 points faster wins faster. It's not that you just have to cap the last point. No, you have to just cap those 2 points faster than the other team, and you'll win anyway. And that's what Wiethoofd did, and it worked out. I think Feila was completely unaware of this, and now they have to deal with the fallout out of this mistake they've made.
That's another 2 points drop. So to put this into perspective of the cup on who's going to win, I think if Wiethoofd is 6-0 this, they are bottom of the table at the moment with 4 points. If they 6-0 this, and Kitty lose in a golden cap to Envision, we will have 3 teams on 10 points, and at that point, the head-to-heads will be equal across all of them, and I don't know who wins, Jake.
We're all winners. We are all winners.
We'll just give 3 teams the first place trophy, and that will mean Feila actually finish bottom if that happens. So We Cake Sellers need to win. I mean, if Feila win a round, then We Cake Sellers have no chance of getting the top spot. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, Feila doing the same strat. I mean, did you feel this is a better strat than holding in the lobby and trying to juggle both points?
I don't think it's a better strategy per se, because what We Cake Sellers did, as I mentioned in the first half of this game, is that it's such a good spot to be in simply because you have exactly the same amount of time to rotate to any spot of the map. So if there's any danger coming out at any point, you're always there to react and rotate, and you always have those flank classes going from behind. So that's a good strategy to work on, as Wiethoofd says. As the engagement coming out, both teams just flashing Ubers left and right, and it looks like both teams lost a lot of players. Slightly disadvantaged coming out of Wiethoofd Seller. Seb's taking a saw out of a pyro, but unfortunately falls down himself there to the flames. But through fire and flames, the A point has been capped. As Fire is finishing the point with the Sun. Wow,
dude, Sun won that. Sun won his team this fight, and potentially the round if they can roll this. He gets the level 3 built up, puts it into A point, and when the Uber came in, so Feila tried to be cheeky and go in kind of under and try to block the A point from behind. Sun just wrangles it. The sentry can't go down. He takes down 3 people with the wrangler alone. I think the sentry had already killed 1 person. So he manages to just nullify that Uber and just... his team end up wiping Feila, and now they've captured 2 points, Jake, in 1 minute and 8 seconds. So even if they could just do the same as they did before and hard hold last, they're going to be in a really good position, but they're already on the last point.
Yeah, they're already knocking on the door, and they're in a good position as well with that 85% Uber charge. Layla's only on 60. They're holding on the left side. They're kind of scattered around. They're trying to hold this point just desperately with Newbie on it. Jumping around at that black box, keeping himself alive. Denkar is already there looking down the sniper sightline. He has a good position there. So much damage being exchanged on the point, but look at this point. Yeah, they're stacking it right now.
The demo's used crits on the point. He's just throwing stickies everywhere, and he's forcing people on. Nubby comes in and manages to clean up a couple. The cap is so far gone. It's so close. And they managed to block it with the Uber. It came out just in time. I mean, 2 seconds longer, and they would have captured that. But they almost make this an absolute lightning round. And at this point, you start to think, okay, you know, we can just carry on doing what we're doing, and we can be successful. But you know, mentally, that's going to put a little bit of a drain on you, because you're going to think, oh, we could have capped that. We could have got victory there. But just look at where We Cake Sellers are pushing from, Jake. They are going the opposite side to where Feila were trying to push. They're trying to go on this far side that I said you maybe squeeze in a sniper there. This is where they want the majority of their team. Kazarok's gone down. They've got so much room now.
And look at this. Joe's actually winning this heavy fight, but he's so low on health, getting stuffed with arrows from his medic, but didn't quite work enough in his favor. Now Seb is on 100% crits yet again, going in with the demo, taking down Kazarok. They're still holding on this, going in all the way to spawn. They see the medic. Will they use the Uber charge or the crit streak there? No, they won't. Layla now has Uber charge herself. She'll be able to defend against this. Should she see the flying shiny stick is coming her way? But no! Newbie goes from behind. What a man! He gets a triple in there and gets the medic as well. Saves the team from just a certain death.
Yeah, the Uber comes out from Layla as well. They're just cleaning up all the players now. And it looked for a second there that We Cake Sellers wanted to go in through the lobby that's like in front of the spawn and maybe try to crits behind them, but they were just too indecisive about it. They didn't make a decision. They just waited and waited. They waited to the point where Layla got her Uber, and from then on you really need like a hero sticky from that crits. And this is just totally different side of the map now that we're seeing all of the action on, and Feila are having to respond to that. They're having to rotate around.
Just looking not too good for Wiethoofd Sellers. They had a very good time on first 2 points, but now they're stuck on the C point. Feila has managed to adapt to the strategy coming out of Wiethoofd Sellers, and they're now stacking people on the left side, on the B side. And look at this, Wiethoofd Sellers has read this and they say, okay, so if they're holding B, let's just go through mid, and they're doing it right now. Layla has gotten the information. They're going through mid, trying to rotate with middle and Joe, but there is the Uber charge coming from both sides. Seb is just flashing the Heavy. Heavy's running away. Buck, their Joe is just flashing Heavy, shooting each other. Whichever's gonna lose that over first, and that was the blue Heavy, which was the losing one. Now Seb's gonna get cleaned up by Newbie, the soldier. And this offense by WeetCakeSellers, though on paper was interesting, Feila has reacted very well to this and read the situation well enough to stop this from happening.
Yeah, that was opened up so well by Fire. Actually gets a couple of really big picks onto the demo, onto the NG. Sentry went down. The sniper was already dead from Denkra, so they had a lot of opportunity. They just don't end up winning that fight. They try to go for the point and play the Uber there. What you really want to do is have your players Ubering and blocking a spawn entrance and having other players capturing the point. If you Uber those on the point, they can't capture it. And again, we're in a situation where Feila are playing on this other side of the point to where they were pushing from before, and WeetCakeSellers sticking with it. They're getting some time on the point now, but they're running the medigun, Jake, and it's only about a 10% disad.
Yeah, the medigun, it really comes in clutch against a Kritzkrieg if you manage to read the situation, but if you get unlucky, Kritzkrieg will take you out in one stick, and they're going on the point right now. They have 100%. Will they use this? No, they're still running. No, they're running in the regular Uber, the blue team here, so it's going to be just an equal exchange. Demo comes in with the Pyro as well, going in with the Uber charge, but later pop and just singling out Joe, who is the heavy weapons guy, just blocking the entire area by himself. As on fire, will he die? No, he won't. Finally getting cleaned up, but he's delayed this offense by enough time to let the red team regroup on the side as well. And look how he actually split the situation. Heavy's holding on the left side with the medic, and on the right side, Burnsan, the demo, is all by himself holding this position. And it's working out for Feila really well, and WeetCakeSellers don't really have an answer to this defense.
Yeah, I dare say it's kind of these equal Uber exchanges that are happening, but it doesn't matter how many picks WeetCakeSellers get. Those players are respawning in about 5 or 6 seconds. Like, the respawn time on the defense is so fast that it doesn't matter if you win an exchange, unless you're capping the point at the same time. It's very easy for the defending team to just get those players back up and they're straight into the fight. There is no distance from the spawn to where all the action is happening because of how close to the spawn the defending team is playing. So it seems very difficult. You really have to kind of wipe them and get a bunch of kills. So we've got 3 kills there, 8-second respawn on them now. By the time WeetCakeSellers get close to the point, those players will be back up and ready to defend the point itself. As the Uber's used, Sebastian goes down to Burnsan, who gets 3 players in that Uber, and we're starting to see a similar kind of effect that we saw earlier here, Jake.
It just seems that WeetCakeSellers are just bashing their head against an impenetrable wall made of Feila's players. Now they just completely moved this sentry gun to the left side. WeetCakeSellers kept moving through the B connector, and they just kept moving in through there, and finally Feila said, you know what, just gonna slap down the sentry in there. And since they're not using the A push, let's just do that. But WeetCakeSellers are now kind of splitting the entire team into 2. Half of the team just going with the combo onto the B. There's a lot of engagement going. Oh, but they didn't expect that sentry to be there by Lilypad. Now they know that there is an existence of one. And neither medic really has the Uber charge just yet. They kind of waiting out the situation. I think in this situation, Feila could have just simply dry pushed this in. Seb doesn't really have anywhere to go. They're popping in early, but Layla has the answer to that as well. And they're blocking this completely with the fat body of Joe. And UFC just doing amazing work on this Heavy, just as he does on the demo man.
Yeah, they're just doing the same thing, and Joe's down to 3 HP, does die there, and this is when they need to maybe dry push it down. They've taken down the Pyro, Demo, and Heavy. This is when they need to go in and deal with this sentry. Kazarok falls into the... Does he fall into the pit there?
Yes.
He just walks into... I mean, I think he's had a few too many Vinos there as he just strolls into the popcorn. Maybe it looks just delicious, Jake. Maybe he was feeling a tad hungry, but maybe this is the opportunity now for WeetCakeSellers. But those respawns are back and in the action. They are going down, and there's some time on the point from Spans. This could be it. They're getting time on the point. Only 5 players left alive. Full Feila. This could be it, Jake.
Yeah, but they have heals. Layla is healing them up and spawn. They're just respawning way too fast for the blue team to keep up the pressure. Spans on the point right now, but he's getting cleaned up by Newbie, who's just flying around. like the rocket man he is, finds out fire. He has actually killed himself by Denkra. And now the Uber comes out in the middle right now from Jordy. Jordy's just trying to take down Joe and UFC. Now the blue team is just swarming the point 4 times, 5 times on it. There's nobody from the red team to actually go in and stop this from happening. And finally, the point has been capped in 9 minutes and 28 seconds. Wheatcake Sellers have set themselves the bar. Now Feila has to beat it.
I mean, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That's how long it took to push that last point. First 2 points, 1 minute and 8 seconds. Then another 8 minutes and 20 seconds to push that last point. Even though the amount of times they had an advantage, the amount of times they managed to get picks and get into position, they weren't able to do it. And I was just wondering here whether what Wiethoofd says they're going to do, if they're going to change up their defense based on what they've seen Feila doing, and it looks like the answer is no. They're going to be holding in this sort of lobby area behind the one which has got like a little grill. Maybe that's where they heat up the popcorn, Jake, in that little grill there, and it goes through the tubes into the pit, and that's the popcorn pit. But yeah, I mean, Wiethoofd still is sticking to their guns. They're saying, hey, this is a defense we want to do, and it worked for us last time, so they're going to do it again. I mean, if they repeat what they did last time, they win it 6-0. Feila need to cap the last point, but they've got a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, they've really held the last point for a very long time, and that's what you're looking for. I mean, Wiethoofd kind of hoped for their strategy to just kind of go in and take all points in one fell swoop, but unfortunately there for them, Feila has been ready for this, and they just adapted their strategy, and Wiethoofd Sellers didn't adapt their strategy to Feila's strategy, so that didn't really work out. Layla's actually gone down! What?
She drops to Denkra. Denkra with the body shot takes her down. They have the sniper watching A point, so Feila are there trying to capture the A point. KritzKast does get a kill onto the demo man, but Denkra with the 2 opening kills there has really helped his side's cause. Sebastian, he now has an advantage, and Denkra takes down KritzKast as well, so Denkra really popping off here. Feila are going to capture the A point. They have their medic there, they have a lot of things there, but they're losing a lot of players here. They have got the force onto the medic. Wiethoofd has a lot of work to do to try and deny this from getting anywhere close to Layla. Spans is on the chase, so is Fire. Layla can't get into spawn, and she is going to go down again. Sebastian lives, and this lobby hold maybe transferring into maybe a bit of a B hold here, Jake, but they look like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, and it seems that there's been a hot swap between KritzKast and Proki. Proki stepping in as KritzKast is probably too inebriated to continue playing. He's not been performing very well this past few minutes, and the team has decided for Proki to step in and to fill in those sniper shoes. Maybe that will help him out a little. But now look at this. A point has been capped by Feila quite quickly. Now they're stepping onto the B. With the red team here, Wiethoofd is just still holding in that connector area. Will that work for them? Because the side door will be open the second this point is capped, which will open up another avenue for the blue team to just kind of push through. And they're going to swarm this red point. They have too many avenues for the red team to watch over, and simply, if Feila manages to find one way in, that's going to spell a disaster for Wiethoofd Sellers.
I feel like this is basically a forward hold, and because of the way the spawns work on this map, they are fairly fast for the defense. You see Middle and Nubby, they're trying to go behind. They've actually gone all the way behind, and they're trying to get some time on the point now. So it's up to Wiethoofd Sellers to react to that and try to block it. Nubby is fairly weak, and the Uber's going to be traded. Denkra has gone down, Wiethoofd has gone down to Sun's Wrangler, and I think this forward hold works as long as they don't let people flank them and cap last. Because even if they all wipe here, their spawns should be up in time by the time Feila gets towards that last point, in theory. But no, it looks like they don't want to do that anymore, and they're going to go to their safety hold, which is this top right area where they just have their entire team just focusing the point and holding this choke.
They've managed to actually figure out a strategy for this one. Just Gawaki on the point. What may be a good strategy. Denkra is actually getting 2 kills there. Joe Proki going down. They're trying to stop this from getting capped. Wiethoofd is actually low on health right next to the point. Newbie is gonna fall down into the popcorn, the forbidden food. And then Layla goes down to Yonan. So that's just complete disaster. Disaster for Feila. After this just kind of dismantled and half-hearted push, they just completely got destroyed, but thankfully they still have 6 minutes to work with if they want to cap and win this point at least.
been a while since I saw the loose cannon being used in Highlander. Love a bit of double donkey to me. But look at Sebastian, he's literally like on top of the crate, so he can't actually be sniped from the far side unless the sniper is basically on the spawn, and he can heal his team. He's not going to be damaged too much from stuff in the choke. He's not going to be spammed. Nubby jumps in actually, and okay, maybe not the best place to stand because you can't serve those rockets, and they take the mid down, and now Layla has an advantage, Jake, and this could be the opportunity for Feila to get onto that point. They have a sentry for backup as well.
Yeah, the sentry has gone down now. They just walk on the point. That's a good time to do it. They're about to hit 100%. They do. They're standing it right in the open, and the Denkra may be just happening any second now to be looking at the medic's head. Now Layla walking in forward. V-Clogs, they have the Uber, and they use it just to block the red team from the spawn. But no! What? Layla, don't eat the popcorn!
Layla in the pit, but it might not matter. There's so much time on the point. They're going to cap it out. Spaz has to jump on, and so does the soldier. They're getting so much time. Middle is fighting and actually wins it as the demo walks off the point into the little cubby hole, and there we go. He's going to go to a third round. Wiethoofd is going to owe me at least 3 beers at LAN because he said I would be done by 22 CET. And there's going to be some very unhappy people as I'm supposed to be leaving the house in around 8 minutes. And I don't think this is going to be an 8-minute round. So we'll see what happens. But yes, WeakTakeSellers will not be winning the preseason cup, as they will not be able to attain enough points from this round, Jake. Feila, I don't know if they can still. I don't know. It depends on what's going on in the other game. But again, we just kind of saw if you get the medic down and just getting straight into their faces, you can just force the point.
You can force the point. It worked out in their favor. I mean, Layla has decided to take a swim in the popcorn, but thankfully it was just a minor inconvenience as Feila just kind of kept swarming the point and using the splash damage to clear it off any red players, and it worked out for them. So now we have 1-1. As far, well, if what you're saying is true, then well, tough break for you, CeeJaey, as we're still in this and seeing how basically Feila is trying to use their brute strength to force through WeakTakeSellers, and then WeakTakeSellers is trying to use their preparation and, you know, kind of knowledge about the map to just kind of stop them from doing that. We might be in for yet another 15 to 20 minutes of a game.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see how it goes. Fire is asking for his team to defend first, I believe, as they basically set the fastest time because they actually capped last, whereas Feila didn't cap last on their attacking phase. Only takes into account the attacking phase. So, yeah, WeakTakeSellers want to repeat the round in which they won, which is where they did defend first and then had a kind of a time to try and target to try and beat. So they'll be in the red, and Feila eSports in the blue will be attacking. I mean, we did see a much faster round on that one, Jake. We did actually see the sort of the last point being capped by WeakTakeSellers, and then Feila beating it faster. I mean, I suppose if Sebastiani hadn't died there, it would have been a lot harder for them to push, I feel. And I think even though that they did push it, there was still scope there for WeakTakeSellers to defend the point. They still had players alive and like around the point. So
Newbie's pulling his weight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether the last point is gonna get capped by either side again. I wouldn't want to, so I wouldn't bet money on the last point remaining untouched for this next round. But we'll have to wait and see.
We shall see indeed, and as the gates are about to be open, we're going to put a quick reminder to everybody that if you want to see us live and casting some amazing Highlander in 6th action, that can be done during Copenhagen LAN starting 17th of April. You can grab some tickets. There will be some links in the description, but we're back in action here. And looks like Feila has opted to go straight to the A point. There's not much of a defense happening there just now. Fire is the only one who may be able to feed some information. Uber comes out though. Sun has managed to take down Newbie, but the Uber comes out quite late. Now Sebs is countering it. but they opted not to really chase anybody from the blue team. They don't have any players to really work with right now. They don't have the Uber either, and they still are allowed to cap this A point without too much of a pressure happening. Now Jordy is there, putting him some damage. Fire is gonna get burned, ironically, and well, yeah, A point just like that. Feila caps it.
Yeah, and B point is actually being capped at the same time. You take a look, the only player there is a soldier. So, oh, he almost dies there. He does eventually die to V-Clocks, and there isn't that much of a defense going on here. Big jump by Nubby, he's going to get a lot of damage down. Takes down the demo, takes down the medic. That's a 2k. He may burn to death here. Right, he actually survives, and I think Feila may be able to capture this B point fairly quickly as well.
Yeah, Newbie is actually, like I said, he's been popping off this game, and he's been doing amazing plays and taking down Seb when he least expects it. So now with Layla on 100% and knocking on the last C point, it doesn't look too good for KritzKast. I think the fatigue is now getting in. They just popped really early because they didn't want to die to that sticky trap set up by the demo man, pushing into the spawn, but there's nobody from the red team to actually kind of fight them there. And they completely rotate all over to the B connector. It's kind of holding there right now, building up a sentry gun, but Layla and Joe are just spawn camping at this point on the left side.
Yeah, but no one's coming out. So, I mean, they're standing there, but they're not really doing anything because they need someone on the point, and the Burnstein's going to try and do that. He's kind of in that little cubby hole, joined by middle now, trying to get some time, but they're losing players, and yeah, like I said, they're spawn camping, but the spawn is very wide, so you can go all the way to the other side and just chill and be like, you know what, we can defend the point from this side. You see, KritzKast not in the position that they like to be most comfortable in. They're on the opposite side, but you can still defend the point from that side.
Entry level 2 built up by Lilypad. Fire is actually stabbing Proki on the offense, so that opens up a lot of room. And Layla going down somewhere to a sticky trap there. 97% Uber charge was on her medigun, and that's not going to be used anytime soon, as Seb is on 100%. Quite safe. Newbie's actually jumping in, trying to get the medic down. He's going to get focused out there, unfortunately, by Buck. He's been doing a good job there. And once again, look at this. It's just a mirror situation from maybe 15 minutes ago, where the same exact hold was put up on B point by the red team, with the blue just kind of being scattered around and not knowing where to go. Yeah,
and you just take a look at Joe right now. He's just tanking heals on the point. They're trying to get this sentry, but it's being wrangled by Sun. He takes down one, almost takes down Joe as well, before the sentry goes down. They're losing players though as the Uber comes in behind them. Layla has escaped. She is at 65%. She is running for her life, but we reconnect with the demo man, and should be okay for the time being. Does mean that they have an advantage, maybe pushing into last nudge. This is the opportunity that you know, presented to them before when they had an advantage and they made it work so well. So we'll see if they can repeat that with the defense on the opposite side, basically a mirror of what happened earlier.
Pretty much it, and now the situation has stabilized for KritzKast. They're putting up some defensives there. They have a level 2 central ready. They have Demo Man with sticky traps on in the respective positions, but Layla and her team are pushing through the side. They're going from the opposite side completely, and they'll probably be looking to completely flank them from behind at this point. Span's on the side right now as a scout, but they're popping really early. They are really afraid of those lock and load or the well, the bomb thing that does double donks. Now the Uber has faded out. They don't have anything to work with. Now Seb is in a lot of trouble. Seb's actually... Is he dead? He's dead!
Yeah, he died earlier during the exchange and all the chaos. And there are about 6 players down here, but Feila lose a bunch of their players as well, including Layla. He gets headshot by Denkra. So there's time on the point, but despite getting all of those kills, Jake, the respawns for the defending side are up. So they're getting, you know, they're getting about, what, a third, maybe half capped, but those defenders can come in. Now Vicox, nice air blast. Keeps off the point. They may be able to just get this, but no, he falls into the pit. The respawns are there, and middle now is maybe going to try and do his toe shot. Sebastian, he gets pushed into the pit by the sentry.
That's so close, middle there in the nook and cranny, trying to just edge his way into the point, but the sentry and the heavy is just too much for him to handle right now. Lilypad's just Eureka effect back to spawn. He's not having any of that. And Feila so close to getting it just closed up, done and dusted, but ultimately was so just not close enough. No cigar. Now the heavy goes in. Joe with those fists of steel, just blocking so much damage, taking down the soldier. Now the middle goes on the point. So many blue players, but they're all getting spammed out by Buck and his own demo. Just complete mayhem going over at the C point. Joe is just completely lodged in there. He's gonna go down. No, he won't. He's still being saved by Steve. Putting out some damage. Nobody knows the heavies. Nobody can kill the heavy. But finally, Jordy comes in a clutch and takes down that pesky weapons guy.
It just doesn't matter how many people they kill. They're trying to get time on the point, but there's a sentry there, there's a heavy there, and every frag that they get that isn't those two things is able to defend the point. I mean, Nubby's just taking down the soldier and the demo. That's no spam classes for them now. The Ubers come in, and the counter Uber's going to try and block them. Sis pushes Burnsand, pushes the heavy into the pit. Down Joe goes. They've lost a lot of players here. The sentry's finally gone down, but again, they can just defend it from either side. They're just spamming. The soldier and the demo who just died, and they're respawned again, spamming the point and blocking it. Layla's on there with Lilypad right now. Brogan gets thrown into the point. They got ×4 on the point now. They're just throwing bodies in there, just hoping eventually it will work, and it does. 6:35 is going to be the time set by Feila. Weak sellers need to beat that time. They need to go all the way to last in 6:35 or less. I mean, it's a little bit painful to watch, Jake. You can see these plays happening. You see the picks happening from the attacking side. They're getting these big picks onto a sniper or a demo or a soldier. You know, no spam classes, no heavy, no medic. But even then, the spawns are so fast that, and because of the way the spawn is designed, they can just walk out one of the doors and immediately contest that point.
CeeJaey, I think everybody who kind of is cross with this comparison of TF2 to Overwatch is gonna bring out their pitchforks and torches, but this really reminds me when I was playing Overwatch, and it was a while ago, to those last point defenses where just the spawns are so quick that constantly there's somebody on the point, and there's constantly, it's just this frustration for the attacking team that no matter how many people you kill, no matter how well you kill them and how many people you have on your side, there's still somebody coming and throwing themselves on the point. It's just frustrating, and I think this map could have really used a longer respawn time for the defensive team, especially if their spawn is so damn close to C point, and then as kind of a balanced thing, just extend the time needed to cap C point, because it can be capped quite quickly. So if the spawns are longer but cap time is also longer, that sort of, you know, makes the situation a little bit more bearable than it is right now, because right now it's just both teams getting really frustrated over the C point.
Yeah, we do see this kind of, again, defense coming out of Feila, where they hold the B point, and the Uber is, or the aggression from Weak Sellers is on A, and Feila want to contest it. They're bringing their medic, they're bringing their combo around, they're going to use the Uber here to try and block the point. Again, Sun is wrangling that sentry, but this time it goes down very quickly, but Sebastiani has retreated with his charge intact, so now they can Uber in, and there's not many players close. They need to start cleaning up. Burnsand and Joe are there. The demo does go down. Joe is hiding around in the corner. He can maybe contest if people come in here. It's not looking really good for Feila right now, but Weak Sellers at the same time haven't got cap time on the point just yet. And Nubby's going to come in with the conch, trying to get something down. Does take down the heavy, but Sebastiani is living.
Still living, still has Sis to actually help him out. Running away over to A point. Neither point actually has been capped yet by Weak Sellers. They're kind of struggle to finish off A, and Feila is so far forward on the A point as well that I don't think they're going to be trying to get a cat anytime soon. Now they've rotated all over to B. They got older players in the right positions. Now Layla is on 100%, Seb is 25 down. And Layla's just walking in. They're not afraid of anything. They're just using the Uber charge, charging with middle and V-Clocks, trying to chase down Seb before he gets his Uber. He's low on health, but he's gonna get him, and he's gonna just pop immediately to save his life. They're trying to repush this with Spans. Spans, nice meat shot there onto a lot of people, actually. Layla going down as well, thanks to Yonan. Finally, this situation is looking up for Weak Sellers, stabilizing themselves and capping themselves the B point.
I guess the first time we've seen the B point cap first, isn't it? Normally it's been the A point dropping and then the B point kind of comes afterwards with a little bit more of a defense. But you look at the teleporter there, Vclox, Nubby, Joe, they're all holding in this lobby, but deciding to maybe just kind of in between minds of what they want to do. The A point will fall here. I don't think they're going to be able to defend it for much longer, but there is an advantage for Sebastian. He's got about a 25% ad here, and I don't know, I mean, if they were to Uber in now, they got 4 minutes. They could potentially get the cap here, but you see the sentry is on the other side to what it was in the previous round, so who knows what's going to happen, Jake? Who knows?
Nobody knows. All we know that there's at least going to be one more kill for the pit. Now there is a sticky trap, nasty sticky trap, sitting on the edge of the A point connector to the spawn. They have seen it just now. Buck is currently a little bit distracted. The sticky trap went off, however, and Seb is going to go down with the Uber. Brokey is just popping off. The headshot on the medic is what they needed right now. Layla's low on health and she's 5 HP. She's running away, but no, she's gonna get shot by fire. Well, yes, she will get gunned down. So close to getting that Uber and into the spawn, but the fire is in there, and fire is taking down the medic for the defenders. Neither medic is alive, was alive for the past few seconds, so it's anybody's point at this point. Is Lilypad with the sentry gun level 3 on the side, a good position to block anybody from jumping on it. But neither medic has the Uber charge, so it's all in the hands of Wiethoofd Sellers. 3 minutes to work with, CeeJaey.
Yeah, let's go back in time like a minute. We're at the same situation again, aren't we? Where Sebastian, he has about 20. He's actually about a 30 ad here over Layla. So again, Wiethoofd Sellers in a position where if they make this Uber work, they can do a lot, and they're trying to take the ground on the high ground. They're basically on the spawn right now, but they've got no one near the point. So it's going to be what they're going to do with this. Crits is a crits. I missed that. They're flinging them across the point, but they're not getting any damage. Vclox has so much time to be able to kind of judge those reflex, and they get nothing with it. Layla's at 90%. They're just going to have the Uber very soon, and Sebastian goes down.
Brokey with a body shot there, and that is what they were looking for. Completely dismantled that Kritzkrieg, completely dismantled the medic himself, and now Layla has not only 100% Uber charge, but they also have the players in a position to hold Wiethoofd Sellers for another 2 minutes. Now Wiethoofd Sellers are struggling a little bit for position right now. They have Meso kind of uncloaking on the sides, being completely spotted by Sis right now, who's just chasing him down. They have to do something at this point. They don't have the Uber charge. Maybe a dry push, maybe a force is what they're looking for while keeping Seb alive. That will give them the advantage they're looking for. The Yonan is trying to spam out the sentry, but he's a bit too far for the stickies to charge up efficiently, and they're struggling to get themselves on the point as well.
Yeah, they are getting some picks though. Proki's down, Joe is down, Lilypad is down, Nubby goes down as well. Spans are picking up the kill there, but the problem is that sentry is still watching the point. You take a look at Burnsand. He's on one side of the point. He's able to spam the entryways. There's an NG on the other side of the point, which is being protected by a Pyro, which in turn is all protecting the sniper. The sniper, actually, the spy goes in. Fire gets the sap. The Uber has to be used by Feila, and just look at this air blasting. Who's going to fall into the pit first? I don't know. Vclox is actually pushing them into the cubby hole, and they are going to survive this. Sebastian's able to heal the players from the cubby hole, but in comes Burnsand with 2 kills. Everyone else is just going to get cleaned up, and it doesn't matter how many picks you get. They are getting they're getting the respawns, and Feila just look like they haven't been troubled by that at all, even though they should have lost it.
The respawns are way too quick, because even if you take this engagement and you win the engagement, you're low on health, you lose your medic, you can't really keep up the pressure for that long. All you have to do basically is just wipe out the enemy team, and lock down spawns is the only way to actually do it, or hope for the other team to kind of miss out on this opportunity. 1 pit kill, 2 pit kills. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're finally getting the popcorn that we need with a little bit of meat on the side. And this another offense out of Wiethoofd Sellers didn't work out. The time is up, and Layla has gotten herself and her team, Feila eSports, on the board. I do believe, I'm not sure how the scores or the scoreboard is looking right now, but I do think that Feila has gotten the first place in this cup.
So the 4 points would give them 10 points. And Kitty actually got 2 points from their games. They lost 4-2. in terms of points, 2 rounds to 1 to Envision. So teams just beating each other all over the shop here. But it means that Kitty is now on 10 points and Feila is on 10 points. Now, assuming this cup goes along the same basis of league seasons, which is, 2 teams tied on points, it goes off on head-to-heads. Kitty beat Feila 3-0 on Lakeside. So from my calculation, Kitty are ahead of Feila, whereas Envision have 10 points as well. Envision beat Kitty, so that would make them higher than Kitty. However, Feila beat Envision, so there's 3 teams on 10 points, basically, Jake.
Rock, paper, scissors, guys.
Rock, paper, scissors, yeah.
Let's make it, official. You win if you win in rock, paper, scissors.
I think Kitty may have won the cup based on
points.
Based on the fact that, they all have the same amount of points, and the head-to-heads makes a rock, paper, scissors situation. So it comes down to what's called like a round score. And I think the fact that Kitty won one of their games like 3-0 may come into account. I don't know. I really don't know. That's up for the admins to decide. It's not for me to decide. But basically, we've seen teams beat each other across all of these maps. We've seen, the favorites lose rounds, drop rounds, win rounds. It's been pretty manic. There we go. So I'm sure an admin will tell us one day who won the cup. But basically, it's one of Kitty, Envision, or Feila. It's not Weak Sellers, unfortunately for them. They will finish at the bottom. They picked up 6 points, but the other 3 teams have 10 points, and one of them won. So congratulations. There we go.
Everybody is a winner in Team Fortress 2. We win all those friendships we make along the way. You win all the good times you're having by playing the game itself. Everybody is a winner in the end. And in the end, it's just a preseason cup. It's kind of like a test ground for new maps, for some unlock changes. And it's kind of for us as well in casting these games and see how we managed to do our job on a map we've never seen before. So I hope we did a good job here.
I think we did a great job. I don't think it's us that needs the practice. I think it's Wiethoofd, because there's been a lot of mistakes. I'm still salty about the fact I'm 13 minutes late, because he said we'd be finished by now.
So what are you still doing here?
What am I still doing? No, but I mean, it's been fun. But I'm not going to sound too hard-headed, but I do feel that of the maps we've seen today, based on a lot of the kind of in-game analysis I've done on the fly, I don't feel that they're better than the maps we currently have in the map pool.
Not necessarily.
I'm not sure if you agree or not.
Here's the thing, because I do like the variety. I like how maps that, could be interesting are brought in, but it's always met with this resistance of players just thinking, oh, why are we playing this shitty map? Or why do we have to do this again? Nobody wants to play it. Nobody scrims them. And even though, the intention of ETF2L and the intention of everybody around organizing this is to, bring in some variety, because people watching this and playing this complain about, oh, it's stale. Then there's another group of people saying, oh no, it's not good enough because we like the stale, we don't like change. And I think, people should get on with the times and start playing maps that are interesting. They don't have to be perfect immediately. I mean, we've played on Viaduct for years before the pro version came out. And somehow the product is amazing, right? Is it the product? I think it's product. It's the product version came out, and everyone was playing that. Everybody forgot about Viaduct, and Viaduct has been in the map pool for years, and nobody complained, and now they're playing Product again because, oh my god, it's such a good map. We've tried with Badwater Pro versions as well, CeeJaey, and it didn't quite catch on either. So I like to see these things being tried and tested. And in the end, it will always come back to, okay, we'll still have a season where we're playing Upward, Steel, Product, Badwater, and maybe occasionally some other map that's been playing for years. I don't know. It's my opinion. I think more variety is better, but I know people are just so resistant to change that...
I'm not sure if it's a case of resistant to change. I think it's like saying, I like living in a house, and my house is great. And it's like, well, why don't you have change? Why don't you go and live in a car park? Like, there's change, and there's also, acceptable, realistic change. And I think if you're going to get rid of maps that are, I think very, very strong maps, like, things like Steel and Badwater, which do test a lot of different things. For maps, you need to replace them with something that is going to be of quality. And I think the maps they're decent maps, but I think, I pointed out on Vigil, there are a lot of areas on multiple points that are essentially pointless. A lot of classes are just nullified. The second to the third point is pretty much pointless for 75% of it. And because of that, once you get through that tunnel on second point, you are able to push third with very little resistance. Moving into last, there is an entire area which is essentially unneeded. The sniper on defense has absolutely no kind of scope for denying any ground, and you can just Uber in onto the spawn, and because you can't rotate through the spawn very well, it's almost a guaranteed cap, which is why we're seeing extremely fast times. So you're kind of devolving. I mean, one of the biggest complaints of Steel is, oh, hey, if you lose your medic, you can lose a bunch of points. And I feel that's exactly the same for Vigil. I feel like a lot of the points aren't well structured. And Alloy, there's issues with the spawn. There's issues with the defensive times on the respawns. How kind of you can just throw bodies at the point and get a ton of picks, but it doesn't matter because they respawn very quickly anyway. That was an issue I had with the map before, and it doesn't seem like that's changed that much. I don't know. Lakeside is a toss-up. We've had it before. Is it better or worse than Warmtick? I don't know. But I feel that, Vigil and Alloy are not better than Steel and Badwater. But that's my opinion. And I suppose that's something for the community, the admins, and the players to decide what's going to happen in Season 18, which isn't that far away. It is the 16th of February at the moment. I do believe sign-ups for the season will be going up soon, so check that out on ETF2L. We will be having a Highlander season starting within the next few weeks, as well as the 60th season, which is ongoing. But I've been CeeJaey, joined by Jake and Wiethoofd. This was the preseason cup, which we don't know who won. It was one of 3 teams. Congratulations to whoever won, but thank you to Weak Cake Sellers, Feila eSports, Kitty, Barkham Bandami, and Envision for giving us all the action tonight, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, old beaver! Away!